Hi, and welcome to day 3. Today we're at Carthage, Illinois, here at the Carthage jail, where Joseph Smith and his brother Hyrum were martyred in June 27th, 1844. We're going to learn a new hymn today called A Poor Wayfaring Man of Grief. This was a hymn sung by John Taylor the night before Joseph and Hyrum were martyred. Now, yesterday we learned about F sharp, and that when you have a little sharp sign to the left of the note, that means you're going to play the black key that's associated with it. Now, in Poor Wayfaring Man of Grief, all the F's will be sharped in there. And this is called being in the key of G. And so that we don't have to put the sharp next to each note, we'll put the sharp sign at the beginning of the measure. And if you notice, it's on the top line, which is an F. So that means that every time you have an F in the piece, go ahead and play the black key associated with it. So in this case, in the first 3 measures, it goes, that's the F sharp that we'll be playing with it. So go to the piano, get your music out, and find out where all the F sharps are in the piece. Count how many they are, and then come back and start the tape again. Okay, how many did you find? 4? No, there were 5 F sharps in there. Now this hymn is a very easy one to play because there's only 2 chords that you'll be playing, and we'll be playing them like we learned earlier. The first one is the G chord, and the other one is a D chord. So you'll take your hand and your little finger and move it down to the D, and on the D chord you'll be playing a D, F sharp, and A. Now there's 2 places where you can do the G chord. You can do it up here by middle C, or you can take it and do it an octave lower. This is what I prefer. Put it down here, octave lower, and then when you're going to play your D chord, just lift your hand up and play that chord right there. Now if you really wanted to do it easy, just do your G and D. G, D, and forget about the chords. That's the easiest way. But if you can, do your G chord and then your D chord. So let's see how it sounds like for the first couple of measures, just with the G and the D. I'll put the G chord down here, an octave below middle C, and then we'll come up to do the D chord. There's your D chord. Now your G, D, that way it makes it very easy. Now let's learn another secret in the song. The first 2 lines are basically like the next 2 lines, as well as the last 2 lines. So you have this part, and then if you come down here to the beginning of the 3rd line, same type of thing, and then if you turn over to the last page, over here you have the same thing. That way it makes it very easy, so you don't have to learn 2 whole pages. You learn 2 lines and then the middle 2 lines, and you're going to have it made. So practice that, and then we'll talk to you in a few minutes. Go to the piano now and work on that. Today in A Poor Wayfaring Man of Grief, there's only 2 chords, the G chord and the D chord. And there are 3 easy ways of playing it. The easiest way is just put your little finger on G and then your thumb on D. And you can go back and forth and play it. That's the easiest way. The next way is play the G chord with all 3 fingers, and then just lift your hand up and go down to the D chord, like that, and you can play. Now the D chord has the D, F sharp, and A, and G chord. Now you can do your G chord around middle C, or you can take it down an octave lower and play it below middle C and come up to your D chord. So it sounds like this. D chord, G, that's the second way. So you just have your hand in the same position. The third way is kind of like what we did when we were learning the C, F, and G. Remember that, when we had the C chord, and then we just moved our little fingers, our little finger down one and our other finger up. You can do that with this one. We're starting with G, but move your little finger down to the F sharp and your second finger to your C. That's a D chord, just notes are in different order, and then you can go back to your G chord. So let's see how that goes. So that way you're just going G, D, G, D. So that's easy. So you got 3 different ways of doing it, just with the fingers, moving the whole chords, or just sliding your fingers over. So now remember, there's a pickup, so we're going to start on the end of 3, and 3, 1, like that. And then the other thing is the first 2 lines are very similar to the next 2 lines, which is the same as the last 2 lines. So go practice that today. Practice those exercises that I gave you. See if you can get them any faster and do accent on every other beat. Dum bum 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 bum. And then do triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Now, let me add one other thing to make it a little bit more difficult for you. Is close your eyes. Close your eyes when you're doing these exercises. Then move up. That way you can get your hands and mind working together so you can feel the keys of where they are. And any of these simple hymns, try to see if you can start memorizing them without looking at the keyboard. So on this one we're starting on D and G. See if you can have your fingers find where the notes are without looking at them. And you're going to make mistakes, and that's fine. What you're trying to do is muscle memory and teach your fingers where some of these notes are. So practice that one. Review all the stuff that we've done before. Maybe look at another hymn. And we'll see you in our next day as we'll be going to Nauvoo, Illinois. Have a great day.